Hello and welcome to This Is Ibrox. This is your Tuesday night edition of the show. My name is Hef, and tonight I am joined by the famous Iain Mitchell. Iain, how are you this evening?
Very good, mate. Yes, I'm still on the high from the weekend. Obviously, it was a massive game. It was very important to the club. And yeah, it's nice not having anything midweek that can kind of spoil it for a change. Usually it's like enjoy the midweek game, the weekend game. But oh God, what's happening midweek? Nice wee week free of just niceness. It's a rarity here. So no, I'm very good. Anytime Rangers win, I'm in a good mood for a few days. So no, long may that continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all on a bit of a high from the weekend. I don't know where I had got in my head that we were playing Hearts, then Celtic, and totally bypassed the fact that Livingston was this weekend. I'd almost hoped to think that Livingston was midweek and we would have got through that. But I think it's when you're on a positive swing and the momentum's in your favour, I think you just want to keep going, and I think that's where we're at now. Is we're in that kind of feeling of we're kind of riding the crest of a wave, and we just want to get onto the next game and hope that it was as good as the game prior. Just on the game, Iain, we're not going to spend an awful lot of time doing it because you and Tommy were at the game. You covered the game, but I just wanted to get a wee bit of information because I was in the stand, I was in the Clement front, I was going off my nut, as usual. However, how was the experience up in the gantry? Because I know you have to be a little bit more reserved. Was it as reserved as it has been in the past?
It really wasn't. No, I don't know if everyone just kind of bought into how loud the stadium was or how big the game was, but no, it was just a row of fans. I'm sure the guys at Four Lads, guys at Heart and Hand will be the exact same. I'm sure David mentioned in a Heart and Hand podcast today that there was a video of him jumping about. We were all doing it because it was that big. It was that big a moment. I think the fourth goal going in was just such a relief, obviously, because yes, we played better the second half. Yes, overall we're the better team, but at 3-2, I think we're all a bit scarred as Rangers fans, knowing that, oh God, something bad will happen. So to get the fourth, especially at the end, just those scenes. I put a video on our TikTok for this Ibrox TikTok, just of like the pandemonium all around every corner of the stand. The atmosphere was obviously very special. It was the first time that you get a little note of what the attendance is, like 10, 50 minutes before the end of the game. And it was like, 51,092. It's the first time you've been like, yeah, it sounds about right, because usually it says it's 50,000 and you can see empty patches across the stadium. So, no, just like everyone else in the stadium, I was getting completely carried away with it. But if you can't get carried away at that kind of result and performance, when can you? That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. The boy who sits beside me, Stuart, during the celebrations, I turned round and I just saw a flash of blood on his face, and I was like, what's happened here? And the other boy beside me's apologising. He had blood all over his hand. So he must have in the melee scratched them or punched them or something like that. But he didn't care. Nobody cared. Everybody was just buzzing about the results. So that was Stuart. Big shout out. He listens to the show. So yes, hope you've recovered well, big man. But no, before we start looking at the game, always wanting to answer the comments that come through on the thread as quickly as possible. So I think we'll just address it straight away, and since it's there, we're happy to get questions in, so we'll tackle them on straight on as and when we get them. So we've got here from Shum55 has said, "Good evening, gents. Any thoughts on the Luke Graham rumours?" Personally, for me, I think he's a decent enough centre half. Whether or not he could cut it at the level to be a starter for Rangers is yet to be seen. However, what I would say is, given the fact that we're going to be losing quite a lot of our back line, whether it be through loans or contract expiries, we don't know about Suter or Tav yet. But yeah, I'm happy to take in some domestic talent. Iain, what's your thoughts on it?
Seems very low risk. Yeah, I hadn't seen anything about it, to be honest, until that comment there. So I've been kind of away from Twitter the last few hours, which is very rare for me. But no, I've seen him a couple of times this season. He was at Falkirk, obviously, last season as well, and done very well, getting promoted. So I don't imagine it be one that costs a lot, not a big wage. You could kind of imagine that this is maybe the backup if Suter doesn't sign a new contract or doesn't get offered a new contract. It seems quite like for like. He's obviously a much better age than Suter is, would be on a lot less money than Suter is, but it's a bit of a risk, obviously, in terms of that kind of, can you step up from one season at this league with Dundee to playing for Rangers? I'd be very surprised if he was like a first choice option. It's definitely one of them, like third or fourth choice, but that's, as you said it, the more homegrown Scottish talent can come in, the better. He would probably have good time to settle as well, given the fact he wouldn't be needed straight away. So, yeah, I've not watched him loads. Just a couple of times we've played him. He's always looked all right. I don't remember massive clangers from him, but the odd one or two this season every defender's going to have. So, yeah, I'd be quite keen on that type of signing, because you said it yourself, we need more Scottish-based players. We need more guys that know the league. All those kind of cliches come back up. So, yeah, I'd be all for it.
Yeah. I mean, if the price is right, or if the fee is nothing, and we can get him through a Bosman or through a contract expiry, something like that, then yeah, I'm all for it. The other thing that we were going to mention, somebody there has commented about what did we think about Raskin against Hearts. Now, Ian, we are going to talk a little bit about Hearts, but today's main focus will be about Rangers' home record and how influential that will be throughout the rest of the season, and how influential has it been so far. However, just on the Hearts performance, take away the atmosphere, take away what it was like in the gantry and the boys with four lads jumping about like dafties. What was your impression of the game as a difference from the Motherwell game?
It's kind of what I wanted anyway, from start to finish in a way, because I'll talk about it straight away. The two goals that we concede are clangers for me. It's defensive errors. The first one, obviously, especially, but in a way, it's nice that the only goals we conceded were our own doing, in a way, because it's not like we kept getting carved open. That's a very good Hearts team. Like, that's the first I think I've probably seen Braga, other than another game at Ibrox, who was a little bit quieter, but Braga was a handful. He's a very good player. He's just in amongst it. He's a nuisance of a striker, very just all over the place, but in a nice, good way, like the kind of guy you wish you had on your side. So he is a handful, difficult to play against. Fernandez has obviously been injured, not had a lot of football the last 3-4 weeks, or 2-3 weeks kind of thing. So tough game for them, but we rode that out, and the biggest thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that we went down twice and we came back. It wasn't panic stations. Raskin is a good one to call out, because I thought he was pretty poor the first half, kept giving the ball away, wasn't being brave enough, but when he was being brave enough, it was like stupid passes, if that makes sense. He was playing very deep. The second half, I thought he started to boss it a little bit, and we obviously then start to boss the game a little bit. It's just, if your best player starts to play well, shock horror, the team start to play pretty well. But I don't know if you noticed, when we went 2-1 down, I think it was a loose pass from Sterling, and the crowd were getting a bit antsy, and he was just kind of calming things down, just properly gesturing. It wasn't just to the teammates, it was, I think, to the whole stadium, like, no, hang on, calm down, long way to go here, let's relax, and we'll get back into it. And we do. I mean, how many times have you seen a Rangers team have that negative, concede a goal, concede the second goal, and just kind of fall apart? Whereas I didn't really feel like that at all on Sunday. It felt like we were always in control, always chilled, and even at half-time. There's been a few games recently at half-time where I've been worried. I think the Command game were 1-0 up. We were a man up as well, so I wasn't worried as such, but the performance was poor. The Dundee game recently at home, we were 0-0 at half-time. I was nervous. I didn't have that same feeling in the Hearts one. I don't know what it was, just the whole vibe, the stadium. It just felt like, yeah, we're going to win this. We'll be fine today. And thankfully we were. So no, it was a lot better. If you compare that to the Motherwell game midweek, where we were second best, basically, but were slow, lethargic, didn't create anything, didn't make the right subs. I think that's, again, a big difference. If Daniel got the team right, got the subs right, but just the players seem more up for it, which I guess is natural in a way, because they're at home and they've got the backing. But it was just night and day from that Motherwell performance, and getting 4 goals against a team who are very good defensively. It's massive. Plus, obviously, the Clement hat-trick, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit of detail. But it's always nice when your big money striker gets a hat-trick and starts to pay some of that money back, isn't it?
Yeah, I've just made up the quiz for the next couple of weeks. I put on Twitter the other day, and Chermiti features again in one of the questions. So Ian, you can get a wee teaser there. You can go up and look up every fact under the sun about Yusuf Chermiti. I think for me, the first half, again, I mentioned the boy who I sit beside, Stuart. We were sitting the whole first half saying, if you're going to play the 4-2-3-1 and keep Mikey Moore as an out-and-out 10 and keep him high, right up the pitch, then leave Chukwani as an 8, you can't possibly play Raskin as a sweeper, almost. Yeah. And that's basically what he did. He sat behind the centre-halves. It actually caused that first goal, because that wayward pass, if he's not there, so short to receive the pass. It's a shoot in. Don't get me wrong, I think Hearts were very, very clinical to score.
Yep.
From where they were gifted the ball. They still had quite a lot to do. But by God, you can't give a team like that with such high momentum away from home that as a gift and say, here you go, a couple of minutes into the game, take your pick here. I thought it was really, really, really poor from Nico Raskin. However, like you said, I think he does come out in the second half and plays a bit further up, which takes a bit more pressure off the midfield, and actually stuff starts to go through the midfield a bit better. A lot more passing between Raskin going out further wide, playing that kind of diag over and letting them cross in. I thought, overall, thought he played okay towards the second half, but in the first half, I was screaming at him to get further up the pitch. There's no point in him. Very John Lundstrom-esque, where just sitting there for no real reason whatsoever when we're trying to push to win a game.
Well, it meant Hearts could just put someone on Chukwueze and suddenly we have no midfield. Because obviously, like you say, the 2 10s are higher up as they're meant to be. The strikers are hanging up. It just meant that Olsen was dropping into places and Moore was dropping into places to get the ball, but they'd have to beat 2 or 3 men to do anything. So, that was the exact same from the gantry. Raskin, get up the pitch. You're good going forward. Got on the ball.
We relied on the fact that Beningame had a poor game probably helped us there, because if he had a better game with the boy Leonard, is that his name?
Leonard. You made it posh, but Leonard,
aye. Leonard, the boy who scored. With them 2 in the middle of the park, if Beningame has a better game, I think then you're in a position where you need Raskin and Chukwueze to be up there matching them man for man. But it just didn't really work out in the first half, and it didn't work out, and we still went in, still in the game, very much still in the game. I think where we're looking at now, Ian, and you can disagree, but I don't want to go on the negative because there is absolutely no reason to be on the negative. However, what does this mean now for you? Are you looking at it through the positive of how am I trying to phrase this without being negative? Because I don't intend to be negative. What I'm trying to say is that, do you look at it now and dwell on the fact that there are missed opportunities and the fact that we didn't take up the points against Hibs and against Motherwell? And I know butterfly effect stuff, and obviously that doesn't necessarily mean, but if the result had stayed the same on Sunday and we had beat Hearts, had we beat Hibs or Motherwell, we would be top of the table just now. Do you dwell on the missed opportunities from Motherwell, or is it purely just about let's just control the things that we can, and not that me or you can control anything, but let's focus on the things that are ahead of us rather than dwell on the things in the past? Where's your head at, Ian?
Yeah, I think you can go back so much further, because even if you think of just a random one, like Bayrami's last minute penalty at Dundee United, if he misses that penalty, we're a point less, and then we wouldn't be top. So there's so many things across the whole season. The last minute goal at Livingston under Russell Martin, if we didn't find that goal through Max Aarons, we wouldn't be second right now. So there's loads of different ways you can look at it. I think we have to just say Motherwell is a tricky place to go. Hibs, for us, hasn't been a tricky place to go, but they're a decent team. No, you can draw at Hibs. It's not the end of the world. I think we both said it after the game against Motherwell. This is fine if you then go and beat Hearts and go and beat Celtic. So stage 1 is ticked off. It's just a case of now, again, like you, I forgot Livingston was in the way. So just need to make sure that's not a hurdle in any way, but just look at it forward thinking now, because there's no point. You can't change what's happened. I'm sure there's games that Hearts have dropped points where they think they shouldn't have. Celtic will be the exact same. What's been has been. It's very kind of philosophical sounding of me, but we have to just look and go, right, okay, this is where we are. If we win the rest of our games, we will win the league. I know it's the exact same for Hearts. I know it's the same for Celtic, but it's fact. If we can go into each game, football cliche kicking in again, but one game at a time, beat Celtic, then knock them out the cup, that'd be funny. We'll be in a very good place, regardless of what happened at Motherwell, regardless of what happened at Hibs. Just keep pushing forward. And again, the home form, as we're going to come to, is going to be really key in that, because again, the split, everything you see about the split looks terrifying for me, where we have to go and the games we're going to have to navigate there. So the better we can do until that point, the easier life's going to be for all of us.
You're getting quite passionate there, Ian. I thought you were going to say let's hunt after that. I thought you were building
Saving
up
that
to
one.
for a big TikTok moment. I agree. I asked the question purely just to pose it. I think we have to focus on what's ahead of us. My one criticism would be the Motherwell game. The Hibs game, I think those games happen. Nothing sticks. Poor. If any one of your front three is lacking a bit of creativity and the other two can pull you through, you generally get through a game. That game seemed to be that everybody playing just didn't seem to have an on switch when it came to moving the ball up the pitch, in any sort of facet to make it worthwhile for us. For the Motherwell game, it's harder because it was in our control. It felt as if we went 1-0 up, we had the potential to go 2-0 up. It just seemed as if Motherwell outplayed us, and for a Rangers team going to win a league, I don't think that you can be in a position where you're saying that a Motherwell team can basically outplay you on the day. But not to be disrespectful of Motherwell, given the fact that they have outmastered
it's
pretty
fair.
much every team in the league so far this season at one point or another. That means that they are still on this unbeaten run that's ran from October. Another team has a further unbeaten run at home in the domestic league, and that is Rangers. We haven't been beat in the league since September, Ian. Now, I think that goes unmissed because of all these. Sorry, I think that goes missed, not unmissed. I think the reason for that is because we had quite a lot of focus on the 8 in a row wins, the 9 in a row win. Like, we're pushing for all these numbers that came up, and I had said a point to JB at the same time was Philip Clement done that, and it meant absolutely nothing. Like, to win that amount of games in a row, to go unbeaten since September at home, I think is a massive statement, given the fact that at that point in time we were going through quite a lot of transition. To still keep Rangers as a kind of, I had posed the question, is it a fortress? But to keep it as somewhere that is so strong that teams struggle to come here and get results. Ian, do you agree that Ibrox has become a fortress again?
I think I do. Yeah, when I saw this heading of the podcast, I was like, is that a bit soon to say that? But I mean, it's fact. I think I look back at it from a very personal level. I wasn't in the gantry for too much of the start of the season, just with the different stuff. I was going to games with my wee boy, just at Ibrox, taking him along, and I think he turned to me at one point and goes, "Why do they keep losing?" I think we're drawing some games more than anything, but it was just that moment of realization. I think it was when Roma beat us. I was like, "Oh, we kind of do." Like, I remember going to Ibrox as a wee guy. We never lost. Like, might draw here or there, never lost. Whereas this season, it's just been kind of rotten. You think of even the European games, especially that Genk one, just terrible to be at. The 0-0 was at Falkirk at one point, just nothing happened. And there's so many games, mainly under Russell Martin, obviously, but so many games where you're like, what? Why did I come here? What am I getting out of this anymore? And I think to go from that level, which is a bit extreme, I accept, but to go from that level and just to kind of going along to Ibrox because you go to Rangers games not wanting to go to Ibrox is a stage I definitely got to. Whereas now, you're buzzing for the next game. That comment that came in right at the start there was spot on. You can't wait for the next game. You can't wait to go to Ibrox again. And yeah, we're all kind of just thinking of that last game against Hearts there, but even further back, like I know Queen's Park is Queen's Park, but 8 goals, love that. 5 goals against Kilmarnock, beating Dundee. Just look at this win. That's what you have to do if you want to have a successful season, because we said it in the comments before, you're going to drop points at away grounds. It's going to happen. If you keep winning the home games, you can put yourself in a very good place. The interesting thing is that I went on Flashscore, you can look at like just the home table, and I'm thinking, we'll be top of that. We're actually 4th. Which is mad. We're in the same points as Hearts, Celtic, and Motherwell. Both playing a game more. Yeah, it's those draws at the start of the season that caught us up. But obviously, any form table since Danny Rose came in, we're top of. And I think that's why I'm getting a really good feeling about this. That trajectory thing that you talk about, we are pushing, we're winning. If we can just fix that away form a little bit. And I'm hoping now that Danny Rose being a bit cautious, been called out for it, I think, which was maybe a little bit harsh because that's what's got us in this position. But especially that Motherwell one, being so cautious and maybe overlooking the game a little bit because of the Hearts one, there's now no excuse to do that. It's a case of put your best team forward every single week, your best 11, keep the same 11 as close to that as possible anyway. Get that familiarity going, and we should go on and win. And then that's how you eventually do win the league. So it sounds very simple when you put it like that, really. It's an easy thing, this football.
Yeah, win games, win leagues. Sounds pretty straightforward to me.
Quite boring content for a podcast, I'll add. But it's
quite short as well. I think we probably can't really stretch that out to half an hour. But
do you still always think, how do Celtic podcasts do it? Because they just won all the trophies for years, and you're like, how? Because who watches that? But yes, I would love to be in that position. I'll tell you that.
I think that's the thing is, for me and you, we grew up in an era where the first season ticket I had was going along to watch. Well, the first time I'd went to Hampden was watching Rangers beat Ayr United at Hampden for the Scottish Cup, I think it was. And from then, it was a given for me that it was, oh, well, when will we go to Hampden again? Or when I can't wait to invite my pals round so that we can have a party in the back garden for winning the league. And then you get to 18 and all of a sudden you stop winning leagues, and all your friends who support the other teams, they end up going on and having success, and you think to yourself, it's okay, it'll turn, the tide will turn and we'll get it back. But we're now, I think, one of the boys, Kieran, who's also on This Is Ibrox, and I'm sure these are all far more familiar with him than you are of me, but he had posed a question today of whether or not we felt that this would have had the same magnitude of a title win if Danny Rule was to go and do it. I'm butchering what he said, but I'm cautious of time because it was quite a lengthy discussion. But basically what he was saying was, where does Danny Rule's potential title winning season rank in amongst all the other? And for me, I had said that it probably trumps many other, but it doesn't trump Gerrard's 55 for me, just because it stopped to 10. And I think that is purely because of what you're saying, Ian, is that idea of you had so long of not experiencing them winning the league. So when Gerrard done it, it just felt so much more special. Whereas this time round, it's got a completely different feel to it, because in November we thought we were definitely out of it and we were nowhere near it. And we didn't know who Danny Rule was. And we knew that Kevin Muscat must have been told to go somewhere else. Steven Gerrard wasn't getting in. Who's this guy? And now look at us. We're signing his name. We're giving him all the plaudits, and rightly so. I think that personally, for him, I would be surprised if he went on to have a more successful turnaround in his career, and at such a young age, because the bookies were against him, the fans were against him, the board were against him. Yeah, where do you think then, Ian? I know you had mentioned, you had commented to some replies, but I don't think you actually kind of nailed your colours to the mast, so to speak. Where did you think it would rank if Danny Rule was to come back? And I know we're speaking a wee bit early.
No, we're going very early, but the fact that we can go early and we're in this discussion is testament to how good he's done. I think if we did win the league this season, there should be a statue of Danny Rule put up immediately, because it's remarkable. Because it's not just the position. Was it 14 points behind Hearts, decent bit behind Celtic as well. It's the whole club he came into, because like you said, the season was written off by us. We were fed up, done, bored of this. And again, that kind of feeling of, why am I going through this? Why am I putting so much time, money, effort into this? It's just at this point, years after a year of letdown. That's what it's been, other than the COVID season, obviously. So it's been stressful, it's been tough. But after the Russell Martin era, if we can call it that, we were all just fed up. So the fact he came into that squad, to that fan base, and just in general to that club, and put us in this position, even from now on, if you, again, some people call Rangers favourites. I don't think I'm quite there yet, just given what Celtic keep doing, given the fact Hearts are still above us, given the run-in we're going to have, all that kind of stuff. I still don't make us favourites, but just again, you start to dream a bit. I was saying to Tommy on the way home from the game on Sunday, you're starting to get that. We could do this. Imagine in the gantry and you win a trophy. Imagine you're in the stadium and they're going around parading it, because that's again the one thing we missed from that 55 season. We didn't get to quite live it the way you have, as you say, when you were like 16, 17, and you're just getting used to seeing that big trophy end of the pitch and the carry on the players can go through. And we're not so close to it as such, but it's possible. It's there. It's if we win these games, if we keep ticking off, one by one, as they always say, it's a real possibility. Now, again, my big thing here is that if we don't win the league this season, and I think, again, Kieran was touching this the other day, you can't have a massive go at Dario because he had no right to get us into this position. So there will be negative comments as soon as we drop points. There always is. Wednesday night there's people saying, he's not the right manager for us, he's not got this, he's not that, because he dropped some points. It's going to happen. That's why we are the fan base that we are. But if we got there, my God, yeah, as I say, statue on the next day is remarkable.
We'll do a GoFundMe. If the club won't do it, we'll build our own.
Yep.
For me, I agree. I think it's a remarkable turnaround. I don't think anybody in their right mind would have told you that they would have been putting money on Rangers to come back and win the league. And I saw a graphic today. I can't even remember who it was that posted it, but it was talking about the differential of the game day table between, it was like game day that we had just passed and then 3 before, and you look at the gap in the top 3 and how much it has shortened. And I think that even if you went into the split with this current differential of points between the 3 teams, it's still up for grabs for any of them. The one thing I would say is, we're talking about Ibrox. I believe that Ibrox has become a fortress again. I feel like when teams come to Ibrox, they struggle. And I appreciate that is out with the European teams, because we have spoke about before, it was a dreadful European run where previously that had been the fortress was in Europe. No team wanted to come here. I don't care about that as long as we can make sure that we can keep that solidity in the league. And if we can do that going forward, the big problem is post-split, we've got 3 games away. Do you worry about that? Do you think that if Ibrox is a fortress and we can guarantee that we get those 2 wins at Ibrox, do you think that would be enough? Obviously, there's got to be some slip-ups between now and then, but I don't imagine it being enough. But where would you see us most likely picking up points from the 3 away games that we've got?
It's tough, especially because we don't know. I think the third one is likely Easter Road, but again, it could be Falkirk. Either way, it's tricky, isn't it? So it's not as if one's easy. I think I've said it
we'd get Hibs at home.
Is it Hibs? Oh, there you go. Falkirk
I think we would get Hibs at home, yeah.
Every game's going to be tricky, but this is the thing, because Hearts and Celtic play each other, Motherwell play all those teams, and Motherwell don't get beat anymore, so it might just be whoever manages to beat Motherwell. But I would just love to have that little comfort blanket in there, because if we could say go to Celtic or go to Hearts and not need a draw, because again, I don't want to play for draws as such, but if it's like win or draw and you're fine, that's a much better position than you have to win. Because I know we won at Celtic, but Tommy's stat he keeps coming back to is that Rangers haven't beat Celtic at Parkhead in the post-split era. It just hasn't happened. So, it's not a great sign straight away. We know they've kind of got their house in order a little bit again, so that's obviously something that's different from when we won there in January. Hearts, again, you're never going to go to Tynecastle and have it easy in any season, let alone with this much to play for. I kind of hope now that Hearts' bubbles burst a little bit, because the fact they were in the league twice at Ibrox, couldn't hold on and got beat pretty convincingly in the end, still got a couple of injuries that aren't that close to getting back. It'd be great if they sort of fell away a little bit, and then maybe going to Tynecastle doesn't mean as much if they are in third. A lot of ifs and buts, but these things could obviously change. All we can do is just try and keep winning. Again, if you win the 2 home games, if you don't lose the away games, it could pay off. But again, what if Hearts beat Celtic and Hearts beat Motherwell? Then you might need to win those games. So, yeah, a lot to do. the big thing I'm really positive about is the fact that we don't have much fixtures. It's just week to week in the main. You can play that same team. I mean, look at the bench that we had at the weekend. That's probably the strongest Rangers bench I've seen for a long while. When you're bringing guys like Gassama on, and we see the impact he has. Diomande is on his day. One of our best players. Just doesn't have that day too often. But to be bringing him off the bench, bringing Tav and his experience off the bench, it's a perfect place to be in. Again, there's two things for me. I hope Hearts bubble burst, and I hope Celtic's run of fixtures sort of gives them injuries, depletes their squad, knocks their confidence. Because that's the thing. If we beat them at home and then put them out the cup, if they also get put out of the Europa League that same week, there'll be so much pressure on Celtic to then have to win every game that can then see them buckle. And I've seen a lot of people say that they can't get away with how they're playing just now for that long. Again, you'd like to think that's the case, but who knows? So yeah, there's loads of twists and turns. I'm going to have to try and remind myself that if we do drop points, it's not all over, because on Wednesday night, I was saying, that's us, we're probably done now. That's what we do. But who knows? It is great. And again, cliche yet again, it's great for the league. It's great for the drama of it all. But for me, just Rangers keep winning. We can't have any more disappointments, right? Just see it through, get your statue, Danny Rule, and we'll all have a lovely summer.
Yeah. And on Wednesday night, we were also saying that Chermiti wasn't a footballer. So what do we know?
He wasn't.
He goes on and he wasn't. And then he turns up. Big game Chermiti. I'm all for it. These are all big games coming up, and we need big game Chermiti to turn up for all of them. We're just past the half-hour mark, so we are going to round up there. As always, I'm going to plug that you like and subscribe and share any of the videos. Please make sure that you comment as well, even on Twitter or on any of the Facebook and TikTok content that goes out, because we do look at it and we do pull it up and we try and incorporate it as best as we can when we're doing these podcasts and offline videos. So yeah, we are going to be back again on Thursday, I believe, where we'll be focusing on the preview for Livingston on Sunday, and then
the game we both forgot was happening.
And hopefully over the weekend at some point, between JB and holidays and everything else, we will be recording the quiz. So that will be going out before the Old Firm weekends. So yeah, make sure and keep an eye out for that. But yes, we'll be signing off there. So yeah, please make sure that you look back on Thursday and keep an eye out for when we go live, so that you can get back in on the comments and enjoy the action. Until then, I will see you later. Goodbye.